a statement issued on behalf of the family of the former U.S. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld says that the former Secretary of Defense has passed away at the age of 88. In a statement released by his family that in part reads, "It is with deep sadness that we share the news of the passing of Donald Rumsfeld, an American statesman and devoted husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather." At 88, he was surrounded by family in his beloved Taos, New Mexico. Of course, the former Secretary of Defense, a controversial figure. And here is a look back at his life by my colleague, Peter Alexander.
As Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld launched America's wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, a mission it seems he prepared for his entire life. A fierce competitor in wrestling at Princeton, a Navy pilot and instructor, Rumsfeld plunged into politics in 1962. Elected to Congress 4 times from Illinois.
I, Donald Rumsfeld.
Rumsfeld was recruited by the Nixon White House, where he earned the reputation as an ambitious and skillful political infighter. Even President Richard Nixon called him ruthless. He later became President Ford's chief of staff, and in 1975, at 43, the youngest U.S. Secretary of Defense in history.
I, Donald H. Rumsfeld.
16 years later, Rumsfeld returned to the Pentagon under President George W. Bush, this time as the oldest Secretary of Defense. On 9/11, Rumsfeld was at his desk when al-Qaeda attacked the U.S. and flew a plane into the Pentagon. Rumsfeld quickly seized almost total control of America's war on terror, launching airstrikes in Afghanistan in less than 30 days. And in 18 months, the invasion of Iraq. But U.S. claims Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction were soon proven false.
Is there any evidence to indicate that Iraq has attempted to or is willing to supply terrorists with weapons of mass destruction?
There are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't know. It is the latter category that tend to be the difficult ones.
As the war dragged on, Rumsfeld himself came under fire, but President Bush stood firmly behind him.
I'm never disappointed in my Secretary of Defense. He's doing a fabulous job.
Still, Rumsfeld started to lose the confidence of the troops. At one point, he appeared to dismiss complaints their lightly armored vehicles did not protect them from deadly roadside bombs.
As you know, you go to war with the army you have, not the army you might want or wish to have at a later time.
Ultimately, Rumsfeld was forced to resign in November 2006, but remained steadfast to the end.
It may well be comforting to some to consider graceful exits from the agonies and indeed the ugliness of combat. But the enemy thinks differently.
But Rumsfeld refused to quit. He and his wife Joyce started a foundation to promote leadership and public service at home and free political and economic systems in places like Afghanistan. Rumsfeld once said, "If you are not criticized, you may not be doing much." By that measure, he did quite a lot. Peter Alexander, NBC News, Washington.